Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today, we're going to be going over a very powerful item known as the Lidless. I believe it's the Lidless wall. um, I derped there for a second. The Lidless wall is the direct successor to the wall of the eyeless, the one that comes before it. This is the exceptional level item, and the exceptional level item is a little bit better than the lower level item. You do lose out on a little bit for going from the wall of the eyeless to the lidless, but you gain a lot in the process. And honestly, I think it is just the direct upgrade. In the same way that the Spectral Shard and the Wizard Spike are direct opposition to each other, so that, you know, if you're using the Spectral Shard, once you get to the level that you can use the Wizard Spike, you usually end up upgrading to the Wizard Spike, because the Wizard Spike is just way better than the Spectral Shard. The Lidless Wall, in the same way, is way better than the Wall of the Eyeless. So right off the bat, you'll notice it has pretty nice defense at 347. Chance to block is 50% for Paladin, 45% for Amazon, Assassin, and Barbarian, and 40% for Druid, Necromancer, and Sorceress. It does have a relatively low strength requirement of only 58 and a smite damage of 14 to 20. The level requirement is pretty low at level 41, and of course you can socket it if you want to at Larzik, and you can get yourself some extra resistances or whatever you may have. Right off the bat, you'll notice it has +1 to skills, so it is a plus skills shield. A very, very nice plus skills shields at that, because it also offers you 20% faster cast. So +1 and 20% faster cast, we're already cooking with bacon grease. We've got 130% increased defense, which does vary from 80 to 130%. And we also have +10 energy, which is a really nice little boon to your energy reserves, as well as an increase to maximum mana of 10%, which is also going to increase the mana that the energy gives you. So it gives you energy and then increases it, which is definitely very nice. 10% increased maximum mana is going to be a pretty hefty amount. As you can see, I have 229 right here, and when I put on the shield, I go to 260, and that's with a relatively low mana pool. With a relatively high mana pool, you're going to get a much nicer, much larger bump. We also have a very, very nice mechanic on this shield of +5 to mana after each kill. So +5 to mana after each kill is very, very nice for classes that don't hit things. If you are like a melee class, obviously Mana Steel is superior. But when you are a caster class, or somebody who doesn't necessarily get a lot of hits in, +5 to mana after each kill means that every single time you kill something, you're just going to get 5 mana back, straight to your pool. You could augment that with a tier rune, add an extra 2 in there, and get 5, 6, 7. Or you could, put in a diamond or something like that for all resistances, which is a pretty common thing. Or maybe even an rune for a little bit more. You get 19 from a diamond, and I think it's, 22 for an rune. We also get +1 to light radius. Woo! And also, it's important to note that because this is a Grim Shield, it has relatively no run-walk penalties, whereas some shields actually have pretty high run-walk penalties. If you guys are unaware that heavier shields have penalties, that'd be something that you might want to look up. But Grim Shields in particular tend to have relatively low penalties, next to nothing. We also have the ethereal version, which is 519 defense, and has a slightly lower strength requirement at 48. Now, this shield can be upgraded, and to do so, you're going to need a Lem rune and a Co rune. So Lemmy Lemmies and a Cocos. Cocos. That's right, Cocos. And you're also going to need 2 perfect diamonds to get it fully upgraded. So this is actually a pretty decent upgrade, because honestly, the Grim Shield, the Bone Shield, and the Troll's Nest all have relatively low requirements anyway, and the defense goes up nicely. So we're going to go from the Lidless Wall Grim Shield. Let me move myself out of the way here. With a Lem, a Co, and a Perfect Diamond, to the Lidless Wall Troll's Nest. We go from 347 defense, 50% chance to block, 14 to 20 smite damage, 58 strength, level 41. to 372 defense, 50% chance to block, 24 to 38 smite damage. Nice bump in the smite damage there. 106 strength requirement and level 64. And then the ethereal version can also be upgraded from 519, 50% chance to block, 14 to 20 smite damage, 48 strength, level 41, to 568 defense, 50% chance to block, 24 to 38 smite damage, 96 strength, and level 64. It's actually not a bad item to upgrade, specifically for the extra defense. Strength requirement isn't so high that it's ridiculous. Level requirement isn't so high that it's ridiculous. The main issue with this shield and the reason why it doesn't get used is because of the Spirit Shield. If you guys have ever taken a look at Spirit Shield is +2 and 35% faster cast. Kind of hard to beat, especially since this is only +1 and 20. However, it does offer some interesting things that Spirit does not, and most notably is the +5 to mana after each kill, as well as the 10% increased maximum mana. Now, Spirit does have a rather nice mana bonus. However, it does not increase by maximum, which does, in effect, make Lidless Wall a higher mana choice if you're specifically trying to get the highest mana possible, because the increases maximum mana by 10% is going to obviously increase with the more mana that you have, and the more mana you have, the more it's going to give you. And, you know, if you can manage to get your mana to like 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever it may be, 10% of that is going to be even more than what Spirit offers. But the +5 to mana after each kill is really the moneymaker here, because quite honestly, if you're any kind of character who has issues with mana on a regular basis, +5 to mana after each kill is a huge boon. Take, for instance, a Javazon. Javazons tend to have huge issues with mana. And if you have a shield that has a relatively high + to mana after each kill, maybe you're using Valkyrie Wing, which also has +5. You have this shield on, which has +5, that's +10. And every time you throw your Lightning Fury, you've got like pretty much all your mana back. Every single time you throw it, a bunch of monsters die, your mana fills right back up. You don't have to spam potions all the time. Mana after each kill is one of those things that's just really useful, and it's actually really sweet to have it in combination with +1 to all skills, 20% faster cast, increased maximum mana, plus to energy, and of course a free socket to do with what you will. All in all, Lidless Wall definitely got power creeped by the Spirit Shield. Does it still have a place in the game? Yes. Is it still useful? Yes. Is it as useful as it once was? No. Unfortunately, Spirit Shield does kind of usurp it in a lot of situations. But if you are a character who is running specifically and you have issues with mana, try out the Lidless Wall with the +5 to mana after each kill. I guarantee you it's going to have a pretty nice effect on how quickly you regenerate your mana. You can combine this with other items like Silk Weaves, which also have +5 mana after each kill, and Valkyrie Wing, which also has +5 mana after each kill. And you'd be rocking +15 mana after each kill, and every time you throw an item, every time you kill some monsters, your mana is going to bump right back up to the top, and you're going to notice that you won't even need things like Meditation Polearm, you know, an Insight or anything like that. Honestly, the only real problem that Lidless has is a lack of resistances. I think that's one of the biggest, like, detrimental factors to this shield, and why you pretty much have to socket it with an rune to really make it usable after, like, Nightmare difficulty. Let's take a look over at Silo's Pen real quick, though, and let's see where potentially we could find this item. If we were trying to find ourselves a Lidless, where could we farm one? It's a level 41 item, so let's assume we have about 100% magic find. I feel like that's fair. And let's pull this up over on the Silo's Pen and let's see what we're looking at. So right off the bat here, do bosses. Ignore the quest flags. So it looks like Nightmare Bale with a 1 in 666 chance to drop a Lidless. Wow, that's interesting. Mephisto with a 1 in 675 in Nightmare, and Bale with a 1 in 691 in Nightmare. It looks to me, honestly, like Diablo is probably your best bet because he's a lot easier to farm than Mephisto anyway. A lot easier to get to than Mephisto, in my opinion. If I like, I think like if you were just trying to do like a per minute farming run, and you didn't have map hack, and you didn't have the ability to see where Mephisto's throne room was, Diablo is in the same place every single time, and it's super easy to farm and kill. Mephisto is not. Sometimes he's easy to get to. Sometimes he's not. Sometimes you find it right away. Sometimes you don't. And I think between the two, even though Mephisto is faster to kill because you don't have to kill any of his minions, Diablo is definitely the easier of the two because it is a much more simple and straightforward. Kill the three seal bearers, kill Diablo. Kill the three seal bearers, kill Diablo. Kill the three seal bearers, kill Diablo. And you could do that relatively quickly, especially if you have teleport. Let's take a look at the super uniques and sort by probability. It's like Cow King and Hell. Pretty decent chance there. A lot of crappy ones. Eldritch the Rectifier and Nightmare has a pretty decent chance, and so does Shank. So that's an interesting two-piece combo there you could farm. And Pindle Skin and Nightmare difficulty, pretty good chance. Thresh Socket as well. Looks like Bishy Bosh, Rakanishu, and Treehead Woodfist, and Bone Ash in Hell difficulty. Those are all relatively easy to farm and easy to find and easy to kill monsters in Hell. A decent little farming combo there that you could do to try and get one. These four monsters also have a pretty high chance of dropping a Harlequin Crest Shaco, too, which is a very nice combination. So not bad options there for trying to find yourself a Lidless Wall. Back in the day when, before all the rune words and before Spirit kind of like usurped this item, this was the item to have. Like, I remember back in the day, literally everybody had themselves a Lidless Wall. It was like, it was like if you didn't have a Lidless Wall, you were probably rocking a Saigons until you got yourself a Lidless Wall. Because you wanted the plus to skills, but you also wanted the faster cast. Sorceresses would use it. Paladins, where they were doing Hammered In, would use it. Bone Necromancers would use it. Poison Necromancers. I mean, there was a lot of different characters who could get good use out of a Lidless Wall. And definitely a very, very useful item all around. Very cool looking item, too. As you can see. Very cool looking item. I mean, it's basically what? Just a piece of wood with skulls on the front? Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when they don't have eyelids. And as always, keep watching.